Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I'm discussing the Nabisco / Mondelez International strike, which started about 3 weeks ago from when I'm recording this video, because Portland went on strike, and then a lot of other plants followed suit. This is Nabisco's first strike in 52 years, so you know things are looking pretty grim. If it's been that long since a strike, and over 1,000 people have joined in on this strike. And the thing is, a lot of these people, they're just trying to keep their contract the same as it used to be. Now, their contracts expired back at the end of May, and they were going to sign a new one. However, negotiations broke down when Mondelez International wanted them to start working 12-hour shifts instead of 8. Now, some of you might be saying, well, that's going to be a lot of overtime. Well, they don't get overtime until their 6th or 7th day of working, as long as they kept working the exact amount of hours that Mondelez wanted them to work. That's right. Their 6th or 7th day of work. If they are working 12 hours each day for 5 days in a row, now they have to work another one in order to get that overtime. I think that's pretty absurd. Now, if 12-hour shifts weren't bad enough, many are reporting that they had to work 16-hour shifts multiple days in a row. They also report that the company is short-staffed on the production line and that they refuse to hire new people. And to make matters worse, put some salt in that wound, management at these different plants were of course working from home during the pandemic. And where were the production line people? In the plant every single day. Some were working 7 days a week. Now, this is starting to sound a lot like the Frito Lay situation, where they had to work suicide shifts, where they basically worked shifts where they ended and then they had like 8 hours to sleep and then they came right back to the plant right after they slept. I mean, that's insane, and that's what we're seeing here with this plant. And it really points to a widespread issue of food production and how these massive plants are not hiring enough people, are instead forcing people to work these absurdly long shifts and for an insane amount of days. I mean, a lot of these people are not even getting a day off. I honestly can't even imagine working in a factory 7 days in a row and then just continuing to just keep working after that. Like, you're not even like, oh yeah, you're going to work 7 days and you're going to have a couple days off. No, they're going to work 7 days and then the next week starts and you're working another 7 days. And sometimes you get a day off here and there. But a lot of these people are reporting that they're just working 7 days a week in these crazy shifts. And yeah, they're making a ton of money in overtime. But that cannot be good for your mental or physical health. And while it's great that Frito Lay did work out a contract with their union, and that strike's over now, one of the main key points, which kind of shocked me, was that they guaranteed 1 day off a week. They guaranteed 1 day off. That was a big selling point to ending their strike. 1 day off is not enough for these people that are working these long hours in these physically demanding jobs where I'm sure they're standing on their feet the entire time. And I mean, a lot of these people have families, and yet they're not able to see them at all because they have to work all these days in a row. I mean, even 6 days is just, it's absurd. We need these places to have more employees to take the burden off the shoulders of these workers. Now, if these people are choosing to work that many hours, that's on them. But being forced by a company to work 7 days a week with these crazy long shifts in order to even get overtime, that's not okay. And before I move on, I know there are going to be a lot of people out there that are going to, for some reason, defend this. And I don't understand you. Why you don't care what these workers are going through. And it's not that easy just to get another job. A lot of people are just going to say, well, just get another job. Try to find another job while working 7 days a week at your current job. Or even 6 days. And now you have that 1 day off to job hunt. That 1 day. Are you really going to be able to? Or do you need all of that day to just mentally and physically unwind and relax in order to tackle the next 6? Don't tell me that it's easy for these people to find a job, because it's not. Another thing I want you to think about is the fact that Mondelez International makes $26 billion in revenue. Now you might be saying, well, that's revenue. They made $3.6 billion in profit. That is an insane amount of money in profit. And yet, Chicago still had to force them to pay $475,000 in restitution to its workers that they denied paid leave for being sick. That's right. They weren't even paying sick days. Even though they're making $3.6 billion in profit, we're not going to pay you guys for being sick. You can figure it out on your own, even though they legally have to do this. So because they broke this law, how much were they fined? $95,000. A company that made $3.6 billion was fined $95,000. Did they even think about writing that $95,000 check? Did that even matter to them? I feel like that's absolutely nothing. There are so many of these different fines that these companies see that are nothing compared to the amount of money they make. If you look at the pharmaceutical and drug industry and all the different times there are fines for people dying, becoming addicted, and all of these other issues, the fines are, again, just a drop in the bucket. They don't even think about it. They just go on their merry way. They're going to keep doing whatever they want to do because there's no real consequence. Just paying back those people is not enough. Like, just paying them back for the sick leave they should have been paid in the first place, not enough. It should have been tripled, at least doubled. You know what? Screw it, tripled. Because they're making $3.6 billion. Even if they tripled it, they still wouldn't feel it. They wouldn't feel it at all. And yet, they would never do that. So, again, this company that was making record profits in 2020, forcing people to work 7 days a week in a plant, and now they're trying to negotiate this new contract where they get rid of the pension they had for a 401k and all these other things that are essentially just a worse contract altogether. This company, again, not losing money, not on the downswing, they're on the upswing, is trying to negotiate a way to make even more profit off the backs of their workers. So instead of rewarding these people for doing their job and helping them make these record profits, they are screwing them. And not only are they screwing these people with the worst contract, they're shutting down plants in 3 different places: Illinois, Georgia, and New Jersey. And they're moving the production to Mexico to pay less than $5 an hour and not have to deal with all these unions. It's absurd to me that this company just continues to screw over its workers. But the sad thing is, the sad fact, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care. You know, they're going to keep making money. They're not going to be punished. They're not going to have any real fines. Both presidential candidates from 4 years ago, they both said, oh yeah, Trump's like, I'm going to stop eating their cookies. I'm sure that's going to help a lot. And then Clinton said, oh, we're not going to give you as many tax cuts. First of all, why didn't our current running presidents say anything about the situation? I guess that's an old issue, even though it's happening right now. They're shutting down plants and they are moving to Mexico. None of those threats meant anything to them. They're like, I don't give a shit. We're making $3.6 billion. What are you going to do? And no one's going to actually stick with a boycott. I mean, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop buying their shit because they don't care about the people that work for them, and they're moving production out of our country. So I'm done. You know, does it suck I'll never be able to eat an Oreo again? Whatever. I mean, it's all crap food anyway. A lot of these places that I've urged you guys to boycott in the past and now, which, by the way, here's a quick screenshot of all the different things that they make. Boom, there you go. Yeah, they make some good stuff. Like I said, Oreos are good. I like Sour Patch Kids. But again, I could do without these things. They're highly processed food that's terrible for you anyway. So it's good to cut it out of my diet. It's like a good excuse for me to, like, eat healthier. And it honestly seems like if you were to just try to eat healthier, you would put a giant dent in the profit of a lot of these different companies that treat their employees as terribly as their products treat your body. But again, do whatever you want. If you don't want to boycott, that's fine. But don't be one of those vocal assholes that has to go, oh, I'm not gonna boycott. Shut up. Get out of the way. Okay? You can do whatever you want. I don't care. Again, I don't care. But vocalizing that, you just look like a douchebag. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Just do what you're going to do. That's fine. But anybody else, if you want to join the boycott, you want to support these striking people, you do want to support people making a wage that is livable without having to work 7 days a week, allowing people to have a real life outside of work instead of like sinking that much time into a plant. Like, I know these people make a lot of money. A lot of people are going to put that in the comments. These people make a ton of money. It's a lot in overtime that they're making, for sure. They're making so much money in overtime. But that's overtime. Past that 40 hours, that's like the breaking point for a lot of people, mentally and physically. That's not good for you to work that many hours, especially at a job like that, at a plant. Maybe you could argue at an office it's not as much of a deal, but when you're working in a job like that, that can't be good for you. I think it's a pretty safe thing to say that a company that is making billions of profit can afford to hire more people and keep the contract they had already that wasn't losing them money, considering that their profits just kept going up. The fact that this strike is happening just to keep the status quo, which I would already argue is already insane, and I'm surprised that they've been okay with what the status quo is, shows just how bad this new contract is and how greedy this corporation really is. So there you go. Just wanted to let you guys know what was going on because I covered the Frito Lay strike. I want to talk about companies that are being assholes, and this is another one. So boycott them or don't, whatever. But I did want you to at least know about the situation because I feel like a lot of people don't know that this is even going on. So share the message. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole situation. And of course, like the video and subscribe for more content. As always, have a fantastic day. See everybody.